Okay. Okay, August 9th, 2023, Doc Ellis, ellisclinic.com. The old hick doctor. Okay, Jay, my VSO filed for depression as a primary. It was denied by the VA. Surprise, surprise, because there was no medical evidence. I now have medical evidence, but it's linked to my tinnitus. I've submitted as secondary, but VA informed me that I can file a supplemental. It's not permitted to switch. Is it not permitted to switch filing? You can do anything you want to. The best thing to do is get a new Nexus report by a doctor who knows what they're doing, right? And so you go after the depression that it started in the service, and then in of itself, then it's aggravated by your tinnitus, and you go for you have them both do it, okay? And then you don't worry about supplemental, but you get a Nexus report that says that. And then you now have medical evidence too. That's just icing on the cake. But if you have no evidence at all, and your doctor believes you're telling the truth and writes a medical report, that's your new Nexus. That's reasonable medical certainty, VA, more likely than not. I've got the white coat on. What's my medical opinion? When I teach residents in legal medicine, I tell the story that if you go somewhere that says endemic for hepatitis A and you don't have a shot, 21 days later, doctor, someone says they see that their eyes are yellow. What's your thought, doctor? Well, that's jaundice to a doctor. That means liver is causing bile to go up in the eyes. Well, he's got hepatitis A causing jaundice. That's reasonable medical certainty, reasonable medical probability, more likely than not, with the information you have. Didn't do a lab test, didn't do anything, didn't even see the patient. But that's reasonable medical certainty. Then you get a CAT scan of the, and he's got a stone down the gallbladder, blocking off the common bile duct that could make more bile up to the eyes, make him jaundice. Well, now it's my medical opinion, more likely than not, reasonable medical certainty, that he's got a gallstone that's causing his eyes to turn yellow. That's correct. Then the lab test comes back, and he also has the virus of hepatitis A and the gallstone. Both are at that time correct. Each time of the history, that's what it's not a diagnosis. It's just your thought. That's reasonable medical certainty. You're the expert. We need the expert's opinion. That's what an expert or an independent medical opinion is. And you need somebody that knows the VA system. The trouble is, 50% or more of litigation requires a doctor's report, like VA disability, Social Security disability, car wrecks, workers' comp, federal workers' comp, AFLAC, okay. And all we learned in medical school about legal medicine is that lawyers don't go to heaven, and malpractice prevention. So we mess up the system because we don't know what we're doing.
Incidentally, Doc,
yeah.
I just recently received a message from one of our visitors to our channel. He said that your explanation of reasonable medical certainty was the best he'd ever heard, and he said that you were a treasure, and he thanked you.
Well,
so
thank you very much. It's common sense, folks, but don't expect common sense from doctors. All right. Now, Roberto, I don't have all my medical paperwork for all my injuries through my career. Can I still file a claim for them? Sure, go ahead and file it, especially if you're no longer, we're talking about probably federal workers' comp. If you're no longer employed, you have 3 years to file. So go ahead and file, and then get the paperwork later. Or they will send you, or we can get them to send you to a second opinion, and they'll get an MRI on you, or whatever's needed. So that's easy. Don't worry about paperwork. The best paperwork, like in VA, is when it's burned up in St. Louis. Then you tell me, and that's your history. And in VA, the paperwork you have from the military, if they mention a body part, like you sprained your knee, that's gold. It's not going to be a Nexus report that did, because you're going to have a doctor say it. All right. My Bug Guy Pest Solutions. Okay. I received a reply. Okay. Would you advise against my VA podiatrist, who's a resident doctor, from writing a Nexus letter for me, or should I see a civilian doctor? You need to see a doctor who's been successful writing Nexus reports. Now, is this doctor trained in legal medicine? Probably not. Okay? Is he trained in VA legal medicine? Probably not. But if he is, it'd be a great Nexus report. Right? or a civilian doctor. Now, if you're going to have a civilian doctor, there are people that charge out way too much money. You don't need that. And then they want a piece of your VA disability. That's unethical. Now, lawyers can do contingency and get a piece of a winning, or poor people can get a lawyer. But that's unethical for doctors. That's just wrong. I should call it the truth is the truth, and not because I'm going to get a piece of the pie. All right. Kevin B. Multiple documented sprained ankles, including walking casts for not responding to conservative treatment, years after discharge. So this must be military. I've been diagnosed with osteoarthritis, both knees, tendinopathy, yeah, that's all covered. Cortisone shots. So even if you had no records, you told me that is now going to be service connected. And not only are your knees going to be covered for your ankles, your hips and your back are covered. If you are 16 years old and great health and you're on the beach and you're walking with one flip-flop because you left one, you're walking 2 steps, you're going to go back and get that other flip-flop so that you're not cattywampus. That's why chiropractors can do a lot of good work. If you're a little bit off and they can adjust it, oh, it's heaven. Now, unfortunately, it goes back, you have to keep going back. But a chiropractor can really do a lot of good work for a lot of people. Now, I'm sure my MD and DO friends are pissed off with that stuff. That's what I've seen. All right, so my DOs and MDs can kiss my fanny. Because chiropractors, they care. They know their stuff. Okay. And if it helps you back, do it. All right. So, anything else today?
Nope, that's it.
That's it. Bless you all.
Thank you, Doc.